Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I am your Velvet Nose Shorty, and today we're going to be reviewing Traveling to Mars. It's from Blaze Comics, a company I've been quite enjoying. Not necessarily getting all their stuff, but I do like checking them out, especially because Mark Russell's involved and he's a good writer. And I just want to start off by saying this comic is both beautiful and heartfelt, which is really nice. It's exactly the kind of stuff I go for. I can honestly just stop right now and tell you to go and read it because I think you should experience it just generally, but it's also worth telling you why, and I've got 5 minutes, so why not use the time, eh? It's going to be hard to get into what makes this such a good bit of writing without telling you some of the story details. Now, none of this should be counted as spoilers. The concept of the story is out there. It is due to terminal illness, gets sent to Mars to die while claiming its resource for an Earth-based corporation. There is everything you need to know about the basic idea of the story. Hopefully that appeals to you. To accomplish this basic plot point, though, we do hit the first narrative issue because dude has a cancer that is slowed down by being in zero gravity, but the shuttle will be on for the journey to Mars as artificial gravity, but it's not the right kind of gravity, so his cancer will be all confused and he will survive the journey to Mars. Yeah, I know. Strangely, though, this doesn't bug me as much as it should for two quite different reasons. First off, my favourite movie about a Martian, The Martian, also has some pretty vague hand-wavy science stuff, like really high wind speeds don't really do that much damage because Mars has like no atmosphere, so I'm okay ignoring like quite a bit of fake science for this kind of thing. Second reason has little to do with this though. Basically, what expectations I have about the story based on what I've been reading, because this is not a story of human exceptionalism with amazing people working together to reach the heavens for the good of all humankind in the face of imminent climate disaster. It's just a bunch of corporations trying to find the most cost-effective way to becoming economic rulers of the Earth for what little time humanity has left. So this makes me think, does our hero actually have a very confusing form of terminal cancer? Or does he in fact just have the kind of life that is very easy to write off so that I don't ever need to worry about bringing him home and instead leaving him to die on a desolate planet for the relatively paltry sum of 10 million given to his surviving family by pretending he has cancer? I know which one seems more likely to me, but that might just be me. I have a very my general outlook on capitalism is not great. I mean, I didn't write this book, though, so I could be wrong. We'll have to carry on reading, I suppose. The writing is excellent, and it is worth just joining in on this for the story. It's really, really well written. It is one of the most human stories I actually have ever read. I love it. Our main character, who wants to make it perfectly clear that he's no hero, is called Roy Livingston, and he's quick to admit his shortcomings. He places a lot of his issues on his upbringing, but he never seeks to pin the blame for that. He's a man very aware of his flaws, with a gift for self-reflection that we should all be so lucky to have, to gaze deeply into what it is that makes us who we are, with unflinching clarity, even if the truth that's uncovered is less than good and noble. He manages a pet shop, but not even the big one, or the best one in the town he comes from, and his town is not the biggest or the best either. He plays a guitar, but not really very well. He doesn't really use it to gain anything. The only thing it increases is his father's disappointment in him, and going to Mars one of the first times he's ever left his hometown. And he's comfortable in that hometown because he always is thinking ahead what could go wrong and using that chance of failure as a reason not to do anything. These are all fairly normal human traits, and it makes him a very good sympathetic character. Most of the comic book is him in a narrator mode. He's basically filling in his backstory by writing it down, and it's a really nice life. It's got a kind of quiet calm to the way he writes. It makes it feel very realistic. It's got talent for honesty, but it also another one thing that makes him sympathetic. He's an everyman character we can all relate to, not because he isn't special, but because he thinks he isn't, and again he fears the disappointment of trying and failing, something I'm sure a lot of us go through. Almost everyone else we meet in this story are flawed in some way too, which just again has a really good sense of confident level of reality that is written about here. Even the corporate shills don't even come across any kind of evil megalomaniacs. They're part of a system that's flawed, sure, but they're just playing roles. They're the opposite of sympathetic, but I didn't find it hard to be actually angry with them. They're not acting exactly... they are acting exactly as you'd expect, and based on how bad they could be, I mean, maybe they're actually faking his cancer, they do seem to be offering some kind of hope, even if it comes with huge caveats. These amazing characters, so well written, we also need great art, and thankfully Russell has Roberto Melli, whose gift character is perfectly used here. I mean, yes, there's also a bunch of other stuff. Amazing sci-fi vistas, space elevators, worlds seen from orbit, intricate alien landscapes, imaginative flora and fauna, dramatic page layouts show the scope and scale of international war and diplomacy, but the things he does that actually sound through the most to me are delicate, beautiful bits of character work. The emotions come across fantastic. Despondency, confidence, hope, disengagement even. There's probably even more I could name, but I don't have time. Millie managed to show all of these easily on the face of the people we see in the world, but not just the faces. Like I've said before, a good artist can do non-verbal communication, does that really effectively. When Roy has to go for his physical before he goes into space one last time, the doctor looks genuinely sad to give him the worst, even though we all know it's already inevitable, but this also has the idea that it may to have sympathies for him, knowing that all he needs to really do is convince his uneducated small-time retail worker with complicated words in science jingo that he is actually, sorry, science lingo, that he's going to die, and it might not be real at all. But we'd also have surprising moments in the exchange that shows that Melly isn't only great at small personal moments, but all the big stuff too. In describing what happens when he goes to Mars and thinks maybe to kill himself, it basically a very graphic death shown by the blood boiling out from him as he takes his spacesuit off. It is horrific, but also really beautifully done, and it means that pretty much everything we do see that Melly does is done brilliantly. This is a very confident work of fiction, and one I would highly recommend checking out. You don't need to be a fan of sci-fi, you don't need to be politically inclined, you just need to enjoy comic books and what they can do, and I think you'll get something out of it. That's it for me for today, though. I'll be back tomorrow with a whole new review. Until then, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye!